Hey guys, what's up? I am Nikhil from dopemotions.com and welcome back to this brand new After Effects tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 super cool effects inside of After Effects, and we will also see how we can combine these effects with each other to create something really interesting. So with that said, let's jump straight into After Effects and get started. Alright guys, so here we are in After Effects, and the first effect that I want to talk about is called radio waves. So pretty quickly, I'm going to create a new composition. Let's call this radio waves. 1920 by 1080, 30 fps in 10 seconds. Hit OK. Let's hit Ctrl Y to create a new solid. Call this BG for a background. Gonna hit OK. And quickly, I'm going to add a fill on this. By the way, I'm using this FX console, which is a free script from Video Copilot, link to which is in the description below. So you can use the script to easily search all the effects instead of going into effects and preset. All right, let's make it a nice yellowish color. Something like this. And then let's create a new solid again. So hit Ctrl Y, call this waves or radio waves. Hit OK, and let's add the radio waves effect. So basically this effect creates these kind of waves, pretty straightforward, but you can do a lot of different things using this particular effect. So I'm going to give you guys a basic overview of how to use this. First of all, let's change the color, and just with that you get this really nice circle animation, which you can use as a background. But we have various different properties like the render quality, which is right now set to 4. You can increase this if you want to, but I think 4 works pretty fine, and there is not a major difference when you increase this. Now in the wave type, we get options like polygon, image contours, and mask. I'm going to leave it at polygon. But in the wave motion, we can increase the frequency, add some more circles, or to add some more waves like that. We can also change or bring up or down the expansion like that. But the best part is that you can jump into this polygon section, and then you can decrease the number of side. We can go with a triangle, or if I can set this to 4, we can go with a nice square, or we can go with a, or if you want, you can also add some nice curves to this like that. And you can also bring up and down the curviness. You can also turn this into a star if you want to, but I'm going to leave it at this. Then we can increase the velocity. So it's going to make it look like it's 3D, which I think it's pretty cool, but I'm going to leave it at 0. I'm going to increase the spin. And this is where things start to get a bit more interesting. So now if I preview this, you can see we get this cool wavy pattern. We can obviously increase the frequency to get a bit more of a wavy pattern. We can bring up the expansion or bring that down. I can also add some orientation if I want to. Let's add a bit more of a spin to get a really nice look. Pretty awesome. Then in the stroke property, you can add colors. You can change the stroke profile from square to triangle or sawtooth in, but I think square is fine for now. We can increase the or bring down the opacity from here. So let's increase the end width actually like so. And you can see first it starts with a smaller stroke, and as it goes to the end, the width starts increasing. I can also increase the start width if I want to, and maybe bring down the opacity, and then increase the fade out time. So this is gonna give us a really cool look. I think our shapes fade out as they expand. So if I bring down the expansion, you will be able to see it more properly. Bring that down, and also I'm gonna bring down the frequency, something like that. And now you can use this as a very nice background animation for your motion graphic project. But this is just scratching the surface of this effect. Especially there is a tutorial from Andrew Kramer which shows how you can take this effect to the next level, and it's pretty awesome. I will mention the link in the description so you guys can go ahead and check it out. So now let's take a look at the next effect, and that effect is CC lens. So I'm gonna pretty quickly create a new composition. All right, let's add a text. So I'm gonna call this lens. I'm gonna make this white color, and let's add a simple animation of scale. So let's go to 1 second, hit S, create a keyframe, go back and scale this up like that. All right, let's select this. Let's go back and then bring this back. So now we have a very simple animation, right? But now to make it more interesting, what we can do is add a CC lens effect on this. And boom, we can play around with the size of this to get a really cool look. We can play around with the conversions. Pretty awesome. So I'm going to play around with the size, I think. So I'm going to go right here and create a keyframe and go back, and let's bring down the size like that. So now we have something like this. Pretty awesome. So I can actually hit U, select the keyframes, and hit F9 or right click keyframe assistant and ease them. And now if I preview this, we get this really cool look. Maybe I'll make this a bit slower. Pretty awesome. And one more effect you can add to this, which goes along with the CC lens, is the shift channel effect, using which you can give some very nice RGB look. So to use this, I can simply pre-comp this. So hit Control Shift C to pre-compose it. Then I'm going to add a shift channels effect. Turn off the green and the blue channels, set this to full off, hit F4 and change this to screen. Hit Control D to duplicate it. Select the second one, turn off the red and turn on the green channel. Duplicate this one more time, hit Control D. Select this, turn off this one and turn on the blue channel. Then I'm going to move this one frame forward like that. And now if I preview this, we get this really nice RGB distortion, which looks pretty cool. And this takes us to our next effect, which is the glow effect. Now, whenever you're using glows in After Effects, the default glow especially, always make sure to create a background layer. So hit Control Y, or a background solid, I mean, and keep it black or whatever your background color is. All right. Then let's create a new adjustment layer and call this glow. So let's add glow effect on this. And most of the time people just increase the glow radius and, play around with the threshold, increase the glow intensity and leave it just right here. But what you have to do is always try to create two type of glows. One is going to be much more tighter glow. So the radius is going to be very tight, and increase the glow intensity. Duplicate this, hit Control D, and this is going to be a much more what we call this, much more spreaded out glow. And this I think looks much better. So this gives much more organic glows, I think. So this is a way that I would definitely recommend to try it out. And also make sure to always work on 16 bits. So hold Alt and click on this, and this is going to help us to get rid of any kind of color bendings. But you can also use another cool effect that I'm going to talk about, is called noise. So I'm going to create a new adjustment layer. And one pro tip that I would like to give here is, whenever you're using noise effect, always make sure to uncheck the noise type and clipping, and then increase the noise amount. I found out that this method, or this way, when you uncheck the use color and noise and the clip result values, the noise is much more nice and subtle, and it helps to get rid of the color bendings as well. So if you want, you can go really high, but I always like to go at around 3 or 4%. Looks very nice and subtle and gives very nice glows as well as the noise. Pretty nice. Now let's take a look at the fifth effect, and that is going to be the bevel alpha. So I'm going to create a new composition called this bevel alpha. Select the text tool, type in something like bevel. Let's align this into the center. So for this particular effect, I'll use a different font. I'm going to use the Billabong font. I think it looks pretty cool. And bring down the color to black. Now when I add bevel and alpha, by the way, this is just to demonstrate this effect, you get this really nice highlight over your text. You can increase the thickness if you want to. You can change the light angle. You can even animate this, by the way, and that would look pretty cool as well. And then you can also change the color. So keeping it a little bit of yellowish gives a feel of an actual light bulb. You can bring down or up the intensity depending on the look that you want to go for. So yeah, like that. And then if you want, you can obviously add color to this text, for example, like this. So this adds another level of detail to your text and adds some nice depth. So this is a very simple but a super useful effect whenever you want to create some nice title animations for your motion graphics project. You can use this bevel alpha effect. Now the next effect that I want to talk about is called posterize time. So here I have a very simple stroke animation. On this, I'm going to add the posterize time. So first of all, I'm going to select this layer and let's add posterize time. What this effect does is it brings down or increases the frame rate of that particular animation. So right now it's set to 24. If I bring that down to 10 and preview the animation, it's going to preview at 10 frames per second. So this effect is super useful if you want to create kind of a stop motion feel or a hand-drawn feel kind of a look, or maybe a 2D animated feel. But with this effect, there is another effect that goes really well and enhances the complete look, and that is the turbulence displace. So you can use it like this if you want to. I can increase the amount to 70 and bring down the size to 2. And now it looks much more like a hand-drawn, stroke, and it looks pretty cool, I think, overall. Pretty awesome. And then I can simply copy this effect, hit Ctrl+C and paste it on this one as well. And this is just an example, but you can add this effect on your motion graphics work and that is definitely going to look super cool. So have fun and play around and experiment with these two effects together. The next effect that I want to talk about is called the CC starburst effect. So here I have a simple background image, and on this I'm going to add the CC starburst, and this effect is going to convert my image into this star field or starburst. But we can take this a lot more further. For example, I can increase the scatter or bring that down. So if I bring that down, you can see if I just set this to 0, it has converted our image into this dotted, more like a CC action ball action. I think that's the effect. So I can increase the grid spacing like that. So you can see it has converted our image into this small dots, and it's pretty awesome. So I can add some scatter to this like that and create maybe a galaxy scene or something like that. But I can also increase the size if I want to, but what I like to do is combine this effect with another effect called echo. Now, whenever you're combining these two effects, make sure to just save your project because this is gonna get really heavy. So I'm gonna increase the echo amount or echo count to 10, and let's set the echo time to minus 0.01. And this is going to give us this nice strokes that you see. Now obviously I can increase the number of echoes, but the more echoes you add, the more heavy the scene is going to get. Also I'm gonna increase the scatter amount so we get less particles like that. And let's set the decay down like that. And this is now looking like a particle field, I guess. Pretty awesome. So you can really combine these two effects and play around with it and create some very cool particle burst effect. And you can also use this as a background for your maybe a space title sequence or something like that. The next effect that I want to talk about is called CC scale wipe. It's a pretty simple effect, but one of the coolest effect, especially if you like those glitchy style title animations, you can use this effect. So let's select the text layer that we have here and add CC scale wipe. And now if I increase the stretch, you can see is it stretches out our text like that. But now because we have a bounding box for our text, we need to fix this, right? We want our text to be stretchable throughout the complete composition. So to do that, I'm gonna use another effect called CC composite and place it above the scale wipe. And now boom, there we have this really cool look. Now let's change the direction to 0 and let's keep it right over here. And let's go ahead and animate this. I'm gonna go right here and create a keyframe on the center, go at 1 second and bring that up like that. So now if I preview this, we have this really cool animation, which is pretty cool, I think. But you can obviously change the direction, increase the amount of stretch if you want to, and it's going to be super stretchy. So I like to keep it all the way up to 100. Now we have this cool look. And one more cool thing that you can do here is you can duplicate the scale wipe. So hit Control D, hit U so we can see the keyframes. And let's go right here, bring this one up and go right here and then bring that down. And then change the direction of this to 180. So now we have something like this. Pretty awesome. And one more thing that you can do here is you can duplicate the scale or the text layer, hit Control D, pull this maybe 1 or 2 frames forward in time and then change the color of these texts. So I can make this red or like maybe a blue color and get this really dope look. You can add more and more text layers. So I can again duplicate this again, pull them forward and let's change the color of this one. So if I want, I can make this black, or I think I can make this a nice red. And we have this really dynamic text reveal using this cool effect. So there are a number of things that you can do. I have a complete tutorial in which I have showed how to use scale wipe and create some very advanced looking animation. I'll mention the link to that tutorial in the description below as well. The next effect that I want to talk about is very simple but very useful, and it's called the photo filter effect. So whenever you're working with any images or videos that you want to color correct, but you don't want to really spend more time into color grading, you just want a basic theme over your images, this effect can be perfect for that kind of scenario. So all I have to do is go into effects and preset and search for photo filter, and it's going to apply a color filter over your complete image. So right now you can see the filter is set to warming filter 85. I can increase the intensity and we get a very nice warm look to our image. And that is how you can add any kind of look that you want. So if I want a cool look or cool filter, I can add that. I can bring down the density just like that. And then we also get a preserve luminosity checkbox. So if I turn that off, it's going to make our image a bit darker because it's not going to preserve the luminosity that we have in our image. And if I increase this, our image is going to start getting really weird and dark. But if I turn that on, you can see it's going to preserve all the luminosity. So it's very useful. And if you want to create a specific kind of mood for your image or videos, you can definitely try this effect out. If you want, you can manually jump into custom settings and add a specific color manually. So if I want to add a nice brown theme, a brown tone, I can add that as well. So you can see before and after. Pretty awesome. Now, before we proceed further with this tutorial, I just want to take a minute and talk about our today's sponsor, ReadyMag. ReadyMag is a design tool for creating amazing and unique websites. You don't even have to download it, it works right in your browser. Create standalone websites, landing pages, interactive editorials, and many more from scratch, or pick from a variety of highly customizable templates to speed up your workflow. ReadyMag is a great tool for typography lovers because of its precision with which you can fine-tune your text layout. You also have access to 5,000 plus free web fonts. Also, you can turn project pages into templates so you can reuse them to speed up your workflow in future. You can sign up to ReadyMag for totally free without the need of a credit card, or you can choose a studio plan where you create as many projects as you want and map up to 5 domains to your account. You can also invite up to 5 collaborators to work on a project jointly using the collaboration function. So the first 50 people to use the promo code Nikhil can try out Studio Plan for only $20. To know more about ReadyMag, check out the first link in the description below. And finally, now let's talk about the last effect that I want to show you guys, and it's called the CC light burst. So this effect works really cool if you have a background animated video or something. For example, here I have a nice background animated video on which I'm going to apply the CC burst effect or CC light burst effect. So go into effects and presets, search for CC light burst, and boom, we get a really cool look for our video. And as you can see, it's a bit heavy on the system, but it's pretty awesome. Now you can change the center point of this effect. So I can just select this effect and move the center point like that. Pretty nice, but I always like to keep it in center like that. You can increase or decrease the intensity. The intensity is basically the brightness of that effect. So I always like to leave it at 100, but you can play around with the ray length. So I can bring that down if I want to. I can take this and reverse, or I can really increase this. And when I increase this and play this up, so let's preview this, we get this really cool look. So this is before and this is after. Pretty awesome, I think. Now there are 3 different presets in the burst mode of this effect. So right now it's set to fade. I can set this to straight. So basically the lines are gonna be straight, no fading at the start and the end of the ray. So if I bring the ray length down so you can see it more properly, there is no faded look in the start or in the end. If I set this to center, now we get a faded look at the start of the line and the end of the line. So this is pretty awesome, I think, and looks pretty cool. So you can increase this really high and get a really nice look. So these are the 10 cool effects that I would definitely recommend you guys to go ahead and check them out, play around with these effects and create some really cool things. So that is a wrap for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel and press that bell icon so you always get notified whenever I post a new video. With that said, I will see you guys in the next video. And before we end this video, make sure to follow us on Instagram at dope.motions. All the links are in the description below. If you're feeling generous, please do support us on Patreon, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and always stay raw, stay creative. Peace out.